Hi, Girl Scouts. My name's Molly. I'm the program director at Girl Scouts of Virginia Skyline Council here in Roanoke, Virginia. And today, or tonight, we are going to be covering the Cadette Night Owl Badge, steps 3, 4, and 5. Hopefully you joined us for steps 1 and 2 last week. I'm excited to wrap up this badge. It's a fun one. To start, I'm just going to go over all the steps just in review, and then we'll again dive into steps 3, 4, and 5. So, step 1 was take a field trip to explore the night. Step 2, tour your world after dark. Step 3 is meet people who work night hours. Step 4 is explore nature at night. And step 5 is host an extreme nighttime party. So when you've earned this badge, you'll have uncovered the mysteries of the world after dark. So if you did the Space Science Researcher Badge with Miss Lori, you've already learned a lot about the science of the night sky. We're not going to talk about that as much as we are going to talk about just the fun of going outside and actually just looking up at the night sky and getting excited about it. So for step 4, actually, we're going to talk about step 3, and then I'm going to let you do that step on your own. Step 3, again, is meet people who work night hours. And so I found a couple links that I want you to explore. One is it's just 7 tips for people who work the night shift. It's a little interesting, so you can find out a little bit about what it's like to work overnight hours. And then another one is a video from inside a French bakery that has their employees, they have to work really, really early in the morning. So that's a really cool one and a way to learn a little bit more about what it's like to work night hours. So that's step 3. Step 4, we're going to do together. So we're going to explore the night sky by learning about something that interests you. So you're going to pick something that you're interested in and learn more about that. For me, I really like shooting stars. That's always been one of my favorite things since I was a kid, is looking up at the night sky and trying to see as many shooting stars as I could. I even remember one night my dad woke me up in the middle of the night when I was probably like 12 or 13 to show me this huge meteor shower that was happening and lots of shooting stars. And it's such a good memory for me. So that's what I chose. You might be interested in learning about something different. Maybe you really, really like when there's cool full moons, like the super full moon. If you've ever heard of that, when the moon's super, super big, or the harvest moon. There's also eclipses. If you remember the eclipse a couple years ago, that's a really cool event. Maybe you just like constellations and learning more about different constellations. Whatever it is that you're interested in, you're going to learn more about that specific thing, okay? So again, I picked meteor showers as our topic. And so we're going to learn a little bit more about meteor showers, what causes them, and how to predict them. Because if you want to see a meteor shower, you can't just, stumble upon it. It helps to know when it's going to happen and learning how to know how to see them the best. So I am going to share with you what I found. I went to Space Place, which is a NASA website. It's really cool, got a lot of good information. So we're going to start by learning about what meteor showers are. So I encourage you to go to this website. It's really great. If you're interested in finding out more about a certain topic, this is a really good way to do it. It even has a little something about how to have your own shooting star party, which is going to help us out a lot with step 5. So that's pretty fun. So yeah, we're going to dive right in. A meteor is a space rock or a meteoroid. I prefer the word meteor. Meteoroid sounds crazy. But it enters Earth's atmosphere. As the rock falls towards Earth, the resistance or drag of the air on the rock makes it extremely hot. So what we're seeing is a shooting star. The bright streak isn't actually the rock itself, but rather the glowing hot air as the rock is dipping through the atmosphere. So that's super cool. That is what makes a meteor. And a meteor shower is when it happens with a lot of them all at once. So I'm going to keep reading more. I love the pictures right here. Got even more information. So again, you're going to pick a topic that interests you, and I want you to dive deep. I want you to ask yourself questions about it. I want you to find out more. And then one other thing that I want you to look into is if you're wanting to see a specific event, is looking at when they happen. So for me, again, plan ahead. Meteor showers happen on specific days, like they can be predicted, which is super cool. And I don't see any coming up on this, but I'm gonna go and see if maybe I can find some on this other website, because I feel like there should be some happening this, this time of year, which it might take a while to load, but that's okay. And look, yeah, I can find even more information. Super cool. Happy about that. And then here's what I'm looking for. This tells me some of the different meteor showers that happen different times of the year. So May is the Eta Aquarids. They peak during early May, so we may have missed them this year. That's okay. I'm going to click on them anyway and see what more I can find out. Okay, so they're active until May 28th. That's great. So we're not past that yet, so I might still get a chance to see some of these. So I'm going to find out more and see how I can view them. So I'm going to look at my viewing tips. So they're viewable in the Northern Hemisphere. That's great, because that's where we are, in the pre-dawn hours. So that's the time I want to watch it. So that's going to be that's gonna mean I'm not staying up late to watch them. Maybe I'm getting up super early while it's still dark outside. So that's good to know. Awesome, and I can see up to an hourly rate of 10 meteors. That's super cool. I could see so many. So that's awesome. Again, there's tons of information. I can learn way more about it. That's great. I'm just gonna go back and see. So even if I don't see these ones in May, maybe I can plan a viewing party in July for these ones, the Delta Aquarids, or the Perseids in August. I've actually seen these before and they're really, really cool. So that's a good one. I'm gonna keep these in mind. And as you can see, yeah, there's a bunch of different times a year that there may be a meteor shower that you're able to see. So again, whatever topic you choose, if it's you wanna see the full moon or you wanna see something else, just look into it, see when you're going to be able to see it, because it's not going to be just any old time, right? So that is awesome. For step 4, I think I learned a lot. I know when I can see them. I know what time of year, and I can plan my party. So yeah, for step 5, again, we're going to plan our own stargazing party. So we just researched and we know when our astronomical event is happening. Our meteor shower, again, if you maybe like a seasonal full moon, like a harvest moon or something like that, there's lots of ways to find out when those events happen. Even on this space place, you can go, just click. Maybe you don't even know what you're interested in yet. Get some ideas, get some inspiration, and find out what all your options are, and you'll find out maybe what you want to experience. Learn about Pluto, all different things, okay? So you can learn about Mars. A lot of times you can see the different planets from Earth, and that could be one that you might be able to see. So again, investigate, learn more. So for planning our space party, there's a few things that you want to think about depending on what you're trying to see. So for me, if I'm trying to see meteors, it's really important that I go at the right time. So there's a few things I want to think about. One is going to be what is happening in the rest of the sky. So if the moon is a full moon and it's super, super bright in the sky, I'm not going to be able to see as many meteors because all of the attention is going to be on the big, bright moon, right? I'm not going to be able to see the teeny pinpricks of shooting stars quite as easily. So for me, I want to find a night where I don't have a big full moon. And so I'm going to go over here. This is a website called timeanddate.com, and it tells you what the moon, you can find this information lots of different places. I just happen to like this one. It tells you where the moon's at right now, and when the different phases of the moon happen. So today, the 22nd, is a new moon, which is perfect because that means there is 0 moon showing. So it's a really, really good time to see shooting stars when there's a new moon. Again, when there's a full moon, you're not gonna be able to see as many. A quarter moon, a little bit better, but new moon and right around that, it's a really good time to plan any type of stargazing party because you're gonna see way, way more of them. And then another thing I wanna think about is my location. So a lot of places have different degrees of light pollution. So I'm gonna go here and show you this light pollution map. This website's called cleardarksky.com. And you can see where there's lots of light pollution. So looking at this right away, it might be a little discouraging because it looks like where we are is like almost impossible to see the night sky, but don't get discouraged. We're gonna zoom in and I'll show you. So the yellows and the reds on this map are some of the hardest places to see the night sky. That is where there's a lot of light pollution. Any big population center in cities like Richmond, Roanoke, Lynchburg, they're always gonna have the most light pollution, but that's okay. Doesn't mean there's none. And if you zoom in closer, depending on where you are, I'm in Roanoke, so I'm right here. Depending on where you are, you're probably not too terribly far from a better place to see the stars. So the greens, these light greens, and then the dark greens, and especially these blues right here are phenomenal places for stargazing. So depending on where you live, you're probably not too terribly far from a very good place to see the stars. A lot of this national forest up here, all this blue, those are really good places to see the stars. So if you're able to, when you plan your party, like I might go see those Perseid meteors in August. And so maybe I'll think about planning a trip around not only when there's a new moon during that time, but I'm also might have to think about where I want to go. Like maybe I'll take a drive and camp out, and then I can see the stars even better. I might be able to see them okay in this area, but if I want to see them really, really well, I might try to take a trip and plan it around that. So that's another thing to think about. Again, if you're looking for the moon, if that's what you're going to look at, you may not have to worry about this quite as much, obviously. But you do want to worry about weather. That's one thing that you're always going to have to think about if you're trying to look at the night sky, right? Because especially right now, it's been really, really rainy. So there's been, no opportunity to even try to look at the night sky, which can be a little discouraging. There's a new moon. If it rains tonight, I won't get a chance to even look at the stars, but that's okay. You just got to plan ahead and wait for another round to come around where you might have a good chance of seeing some stars. So that's a very important part of stargazing, is not getting discouraged, because there are a lot of factors that that can affect what you see, and that's okay. So those are some really good things to think about. You also want to think about what time of day or time of night, really, that you can see see what you're looking for the best. So I think we saw earlier, one of them said early dawn is a good time. You can usually find that information. I'm also going to show you on here something pretty interesting on timeanddate.com. We're going to click on night sky, and this actually will show us not just the moon, but what other things we'll be able to see from where we are. So this is showing me the sky above Roanoke, and then all the different planets that I may be able to see. And what's cool is it also tells you the time. So obviously the sun, it's telling me it sets at 8:26 p.m. and it rises at 6:05 a.m. The moon sets at 7:32 a.m. and rises at 6:10 a.m. Oh, did I get those mixed up? But yeah, so that's super cool. If you're interested in seeing a planet, this can give you some information on what times those are going to be visible. And if you have any interest in this, there's way more information here. View just after sunset, view before sunrise, close to the sun, visible around sunset only. So if you're still thinking about what kind of thing you might be interested in looking out for in the sky, maybe turn to this and see if maybe these are something you want to look for. So those are some awesome resources, but also important when you're planning a stargazing party is actually planning the details of your party, right? So you want to think about not only where you're going, when you're going, who you're going with. You want to think about what you're going to need with you. So I always recommend, because it's can be chilly at night, is always have maybe a sleeping bag or blankets and pillows so you're cozy. Maybe you want to make a thermos of hot chocolate so you have something yummy to drink. That's always fun. And one thing I definitely recommend is bringing something to celebrate with, especially if you're looking for shooting stars. You want to be able to celebrate every time you see one, right? So we are going to make a comet on a stick, and I'm going to show you how to do that as you to celebrate every time you see a shooting star. So follow along. I'm going to show you that, and then I'm also going to end this video with a bunch of links so you can do more exploring on your own. Okay, so to make our comet on a stick, we've got all our supplies laid out. We've got 3 pieces of tinfoil, kind of in a square shape. We've got our scissors for cutting the ribbon that you might want if you haven't pre-cut your ribbon. We've got a stick. I just used a kebab skewer. You could use a chopstick, or maybe you found a stick outside, whatever works. And then we've got 1 super short piece of string. We've got 2 shorter pieces of yarn, and then 2 long pieces of yarn. So represented here, we've got all the pieces of a comet. Our tinfoil is the nucleus of the comet. The shorter string here is going to be the comma of the comet. The shorter pieces of yarn are the dust tail around the comet. And then the last 2 longer pieces of yarn are that long gas tail of the comet. So we're going to put all of our items together. For the strings, you just want to tie them up at the top of your stick. Tie them all together. And if you have different colors of string or ribbon or yarn, go ahead and use different colors for the different pieces. I did not have a lot of options that I was working with, and that's okay too, as long as they're different lengths. And if you have the kind of ribbon that can be, that you can use scissors to make it, curly, go ahead and do that. That'd be really, really cool, especially if you have metallic ribbon. That'd be super fun for our comet on a stick. All right, so you're going to tie all these together, preserving as much length of the ribbon as you can. All right, so now I've got all those on there. I'm going to take my first piece of tinfoil and wrap it right at the top. You just want to have it covering those bits of ribbon at the top, but you want to leave the long bits out, okay? So make sure that those are still out. Oop, and I seem to have lost one of my comma part. Ended up getting twisted in. So let me make sure that's visible. We don't want to lose that. There we go. All right. And so this first one, piece of tinfoil, I'm going to just make nice and tight for my nucleus. And then I'm just going to do the other 2 on top of that, okay? Again, making sure those strings stay out. Awesome. And now I've got my comet on a stick, remember? With my comma here, the nucleus here, the shorter 2 again are our dust tail, and then the gas tail is the long strings of ribbon. And you can Celebrate every time you see a shooting star by waving it around. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed earning your Cadette Night Owl badge. I'm going to follow this with some links at the very end of this video so you have some resources to help you do your planning for your nighttime party. So enjoy and take care.